I'm standing at Port of Miami, clutching a cruise ticket, and my hands won't stop shaking, but not from age, from pure rage. My son Terry booked me this relaxing vacation after 40 years of sacrifice. 1 month in the Caribbean. You deserve it, Mom, he'd said at Thanksgiving dinner in his big Scottsdale living room, tears in his eyes. I arrived early, old habit, and asked to see my cabin assignment. The terminal agent's face went white. Ma'am, this ticket only goes one direction. It terminates in Port-au-Prince. My son had just tried to ship his 72-year-old mother to Haiti permanently. But here's what Terry doesn't know. I'm about to teach him the most expensive lesson of his miserable life. If you've ever had family betray you, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a comment telling me, would you have seen this coming? Because this story is about to get wild. Let me back up 3 weeks. It was the Sunday before Thanksgiving, and I was at my little Phoenix bungalow making my famous pecan pie, the one my kids had been eating since they were in diapers. Terry showed up unexpected around 2 in the afternoon, which should have been my first red flag. My son never just stopped by. He was always too busy with his precious real estate empire. "Hey, Mom," he said, giving me that $1,000,000 smile that used to melt my heart. Now it makes my skin crawl. He was wearing one of those expensive suits, the kind that cost more than my first car. His shoes were so shiny I could see my reflection. My boy had done well for himself. Or so I thought. "Oh, Terry, honey, what a surprise!" I hugged him, getting flour all over his designer jacket. He didn't even flinch. That should have been red flag number 2. "Ma, I've been thinking." He sat down at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd helped him with homework, where we'd celebrated his college acceptance, where I'd cried when his father walked out on us 23 years ago. "Oh, sweetie, that's what mothers do." "No, Ma, listen." He pulled out an envelope from his jacket. "I booked you a cruise. 1 month, Caribbean. All expenses paid, first-class cabin, spa treatments, the works." I stared at that envelope like it was a winning lottery ticket. "Terry, honey, I can't accept." "Yes, you can. You're going. It's already paid for. You leave December 15th from Miami." His eyes got all watery. "Mom, you raised us alone. You sacrificed everything. It's time someone took care of you for once." I cried. God help me. I actually cried and hugged my son, thanking him for being so thoughtful. What a damn fool I was. The next week, Terry showed up again, this time with Brandon Hewitt, his lawyer buddy from Tempe. They had briefcases and serious faces. "Ma, Brandon and I need you to sign some updated estate documents," Terry said, spreading papers across my coffee table. "Just standard stuff. Power of attorney updates, beneficiary changes, in case anything happens while you're on your cruise." Brandon smiled at me with those bleached teeth. "Mrs. Shannon, this is really just a formality. We want to make sure everything's in order, for peace of mind." I'm 72, not stupid. I spent 30 years as an insurance fraud investigator for Liberty Mutual. I know when someone's running a scam. But I played along. "Of course, dear, whatever you think is best." I signed those papers with my shaky old lady handwriting, asking lots of confused questions, pretending I didn't understand all the legal jargon. Terry and Brandon exchanged looks, the kind of looks that said, "She's so out of it. This is going to be easy." The second they left, I photographed every single page and called my own lawyer, Susan Richardson, a shark from my Liberty Mutual days who now runs her own practice in Scottsdale. "Susan, I need you to look at something, and I need you to be discreet." Susan called me back 2 days later. Her voice was ice cold. "Patricia, you need to sit down." I was already sitting, but her tone made my blood pressure spike anyway. "These documents give Terry complete control over your assets, power of attorney, beneficiary changes on your life insurance, all of it flows to him. And there's something else." She paused. "There's a $2 million life insurance policy on you that I didn't see in your original estate plans. When did you take this out?" "I didn't." silence on the other end. Then, "Patricia, someone forged your signature. This is fraud. We need to call the police." "No." My mind was already working, connecting dots I didn't want to connect. "Not yet. I need you to do something for me first." That's when I hired Raymond Foster, a private investigator who owed me a favor from a case I'd helped him crack back in 2015. Ray was expensive, but he was thorough. "I need you to follow my son," I told him, hating every word coming out of my mouth. "And I need you to find out everything." Ray called me 72 hours later. "Mrs. Shannon, you're going to want to sit down for this one too." Jesus, why did everyone keep telling me to sit down? "Your son Terry has been having an affair with Rita Paulson for 18 months. Rita. Rita! My best friend from book club, the woman I'd known for 12 years, the one who'd held my hand through my divorce, the one I'd invited to every holiday dinner because she was like family. I thought I might throw up. "There's more," Ray continued. "They've been planning this for at least 6 months. I've got photos of them at the Phoenician Resort in Scottsdale, emails discussing the plan, and, this is the worst part, text messages about reporting you lost at sea somewhere between Jamaica and Haiti." My hands started shaking so badly I nearly dropped the phone. "They're planning to murder you, Mrs. Shannon. The cruise ticket is one way. They're going to collect the insurance money, inherit your estate, and get married. I've got everything documented. We need to go to the police right now." "Not yet," I whispered. "I need to think." I didn't sleep that night, or the next 3 nights. I kept thinking about Terry as a little boy. How he used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms, how he'd made me Mother's Day cards with crayon drawings of us holding hands, how he'd sobbed in my arms when his father left, promising me he'd never abandon me like Dad did. And now he was going to kill me for money. The rage started somewhere deep in my chest and spread like wildfire. Not the hot, explosive kind of rage, the cold, calculating kind, the kind that makes you dangerous. If Terry wanted to play games, fine, but he clearly forgot who taught him chess. I called Susan back. "That life insurance policy Terry fraudulently took out on me, can we change the beneficiary?" "We can challenge it," Susan said. "Because your signature was forged, we can force the insurer to recognize you as the rightful owner. Once that's corrected, we'll change the beneficiary." "Then do it," I said. "And when you get control, change it to Phoenix Children's Hospital. I want every penny going to those kids." "Done. What else?" "I need you to help me open a new account, one Terry doesn't know about, and I need to transfer my real assets there. Here's what my genius son didn't know. That $340,000 in our joint account from selling my old Phoenix house, that was pocket change. My late mother, God rest her soul, had left me $2.8 million from her Texas oil investments when she died 2 years ago. Terry knew I'd inherited something, but I'd never told him how much. I'd kept that money in a separate account, letting it grow, planning to split it between him and Allison when I died. Well, those plans just changed. Over the next week, I moved every penny of that $2.8 million inheritance into an irrevocable trust with Allison as the sole beneficiary. I left just enough aside to buy myself something small and quiet to live in, a modest condo where I could spend my final years in peace. Terry would get nothing, not 1 cent. But I wasn't done. I called Ray back. "I need you to document everything. Every meeting Terry has with Rita, every conversation. I want phone records, emails, photos, everything that proves they planned this." "Already on it, Mrs. Shannon. I've got enough evidence to put them both away for conspiracy to commit murder." "Good. Keep digging. I want to know every detail of their plan." December 14th arrived, the day before my cruise. Terry came over to drive me to the airport for my flight to Miami. He was all smiles and hugs, helping me with my suitcase, making sure I had my medications. "You're gonna have the time of your life, Mom," he said, kissing my forehead. "You deserve this." I hugged him back, breathing in his expensive cologne, memorizing this moment. Thank you, baby. You're such a good son. The lie tasted like acid in my mouth. At the airport, he walked me all the way to security. Call me when you board tomorrow, okay? I want to make sure you got on safely. Of course, sweetheart. I watched him walk away, probably heading straight to Rita's place to celebrate getting rid of dear old mom. Okay, I need to know, are you team mom right now? Because if you are, drop a comment and tell me what you would do to Terry. And don't forget to subscribe because this revenge is about to get delicious. I flew to Miami that night and checked into a hotel near the port. Didn't sleep, just sat there, thinking about everything. The next morning, December 15th, I got dressed in my best travel outfit and headed to Port of Miami at 6 a.m. My cruise didn't board until noon, but old habits die hard. I was always early for everything. Flights, appointments, my own funeral, apparently. The terminal was already buzzing with excited travelers. Families with kids, couples holding hands, elderly folks like me ready for adventure. Except I wasn't going on any adventure. I was about to blow up my son's entire life. I walked up to the check-in counter, handed my ticket to a young woman named Ashley. Good morning. So excited for your cruise, Mrs. Shannon. She scanned my ticket, and I watched her face change. The smile dropped. Her eyes went wide. Is everything okay? I asked, playing confused. Ma'am, I'm seeing something unusual here. Let me get my supervisor. A manager named Jennifer came over. She looked at my ticket, looked at her computer, looked at me. Mrs. Shannon, I'm not sure how to tell you this, but your ticket is one way. It terminates in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. There's no return passage. I let my face crumble, let my hands shake. What? No, that can't be right. My son booked this. He said 1 month round trip. The manager looked genuinely distressed. I'm so sorry. Would you like me to call the booking agent? No, I said quietly. No, I understand perfectly. I walked away from that counter and sat down on a bench, pulling out my phone with trembling fingers. First, I checked my bank account, the joint account I shared with Terry, the one with $340,000 from my old house sale. Balance, $891. He'd cleaned me out. Probably did it this morning, thinking I was already on the ship. The rage I'd been holding back for 3 weeks exploded in my chest like a nuclear bomb. But I kept my face calm, kept my breathing steady. Time for Act 3 of Patricia Shannon's revenge opera. I called Terry. He answered on the first ring, voice all cheery. Ma, are you at the port? Yes, honey. Oh, Terry, this ship is beautiful. I'm about to board now. First-class cabin, just like you said. That's great, Ma. I'm so happy for you. You're going to have the best time. I could hear Rita giggling in the background, probably naked in his bed in his Scottsdale penthouse that I helped him buy with a down payment loan he never paid back. Thank you, baby. Thank you for being such a wonderful son. I love you so much. Love you too, Ma. Enjoy your trip. He hung up. I stared at my phone, letting that final, I love you, echo in my head. The last time I'd ever say those words to him and mean them. Next call, Allison. My daughter answered crying, full-on sobbing, the kind that makes you hyperventilate. Allison, baby, what's wrong? Mom? Mom! Her voice cracked. Oh my God, you're alive! You're alive! Ice water flooded my veins. What are you talking about? Of course I'm alive. Terry called me Tuesday. He said you went on an early cruise, there was an accident, and you were lost at sea. He said the memorial is next month. I've been planning to fly home. I've been crying for 3 days. Mom, what is happening? And that's when the final piece clicked into place. Terry wasn't just planning to kill me. He'd already started the cover story. Told Allison I was lost at sea, probably told other people too. He was going to report me missing from the cruise, collect the insurance, and play the grieving son. And he'd already practiced his performance on his own sister. Allison, listen to me very carefully, I said, my voice steady as steel. I'm fine. I'm in Miami. And your brother just tried to murder me. No, not yet. I need you to do exactly what I say, okay? Mom. Allison, trust me. I've been planning this for 3 weeks. Let me finish it. I told her the plan, every detail. By the time I hung up, she was laughing through her tears. Mom, you're terrifying. I learned from the best, baby. Your grandmother didn't raise a fool. I didn't get on that cruise. Instead, I took an Uber to the FBI field office in Miami, walked right up to the front desk with Ray's entire investigative file, emails, photos, phone records, bank statements, everything. My son is trying to murder me for insurance money, I told the agent at the desk, and I have proof of wire fraud, insurance fraud, and conspiracy to commit murder. 3 hours later, I was sitting in an interview room with 2 FBI agents, Agent Trevor and Agent Kim, going through every detail. Mrs. Shannon, this is extremely thorough documentation. Your investigator did excellent work. I used to investigate insurance fraud for 30 years. I know what evidence looks like. Agent Kim smiled. We're going to need you to press charges, and we'll need to coordinate with Phoenix PD. Whatever you need. I want him arrested. We can do that. But, Mrs. Shannon, Agent Trevor leaned forward, would you be willing to help us catch him in the act? That's how I ended up in a Miami FBI safe house, wearing a wire, calling my son one more time. Terry, honey, I have some bad news. Ma, what's wrong? I thought you were on the cruise. I am, sweetheart, but there's a problem. The ship lost power. We're stuck at port for another day. They're saying we might not leave until tomorrow. I could hear the panic in his voice. What? Are you serious? I'm afraid so. But don't worry, they're putting us up in hotels. I'm at a Marriott near the port, room 342. Silence. I could practically hear the wheels turning in his head. You know what, Matt? I'm actually in Miami for business. What a coincidence. Why don't I come keep you company? We can have dinner. My blood turned to ice. He was going to come finish the job himself. Oh, Terry, that would be wonderful. I'd love to see you. I'll be there in a few hours, Ma. Sit tight. Agent Trevor looked at me. Are you sure you want to do this? Absolutely. They wired me up, put agents in the hallway, agents in the parking lot, agents pretending to be hotel staff up and down the corridor at the actual Marriott, right outside room 342. A whole team ready to move when Terry made his play. I sat in that hotel room and waited. 4 hours later, there was a knock on the door. I opened it, and there was my son. My beautiful boy with his designer suit and his $1 million smile. Hey, Ma. He hugged me and I felt bile rise in my throat. I'm so sorry about the cruise delay. Oh, it's fine, honey. These things happen. Come in, come in. He walked into the room and I watched him scan everything, looking for, weaknesses? Opportunities? You want some coffee? I can call room service. Actually, Ma, I wanted to talk to you about something. His voice changed, dropped the fake warmth. I know you know. My heart stopped. Know what, sweetheart? Don't play dumb. Rita told me you've been asking questions, that you hired someone to follow me. Rita. Of course. My best friend had ratted me out. Terry, I don't know what you're talking about. Stop. He grabbed my arm, hard enough to bruise. Stop lying. You know about the insurance policy. You know about the money. You know everything. Let go of me. You were supposed to be on that ship. You were supposed to be gone. His face twisted into something I didn't recognize, something cold and cruel. So, you were really going to do it? I whispered. You were really going to kill your own mother? You weren't supposed to find out. You were supposed to disappear, and I was supposed to inherit everything and finally be free of you. That's when the FBI crashed through the door. FBI, hands where we can see them. Terry spun around, face going white. What? Agent Trevor grabbed him, slamming him against the wall. Terry Shannon, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, wire fraud, insurance fraud, and attempted murder. I watched them cuff my son, read him his rights, drag him toward the door. He looked at me one last time. Mom, don't, I said coldly. Don't you dare call me that ever again. They arrested Rita later that day at Terry's Scottsdale penthouse. Turns out she'd been embezzling from her own employer too. She's looking at 20 years. Terry is facing 40. The federal prosecutor called it one of the most clear-cut cases of conspiracy to commit murder he'd ever seen. Ray's documentation, plus Terry's confession on the FBI wire, plus the paper trail, they didn't even need a trial. Terry took a plea deal. 40 years in ADX Florence, the federal supermax in Colorado. No parole. I flew back to Phoenix a week later. Allison picked me up at the airport, hugged me so hard I thought my ribs would crack. Mom, you're the most badass 72-year-old woman I've ever met. I learned from your grandmother. She always said, never let anyone make you a victim twice. We drove to my lawyer, Susan's office, where we finalized the trust documents. All $2.8 million going to Allison with specific provisions for her twins' education. What about you, Mom? You just gave away your entire inheritance. Baby, my pension and retirement savings are enough for a modest life. The $2.8 million? That was never supposed to be my spending money. It was my legacy, and legacies belong with the ones who actually deserve them. I squeezed her hand. Besides, I don't need millions. I need peace. And knowing that your brother is rotting in prison, that gives me all the peace I need. A month later, I got a letter from Terry, forwarded from ADX Florence. I almost threw it away, but curiosity got the better of me. Mom, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness. I was greedy, stupid, and cruel. I convinced myself you were old, that you wouldn't miss the money, that you'd be better off gone. I listened to Rita instead of my conscience. I threw away everything, my family, my freedom, my soul, for money I'll never see. You were right. This was an expensive lesson. I'm sorry. Terry. I read that letter 3 times. Then I burned it in my fireplace and never looked back. 6 months later, I'm sitting in my new Phoenix condo, smaller than my old house, but it's mine, paid in cash from what I set aside, having lunch with Allison and the twins. My phone rings. Unknown number. Hello? Mrs. Shannon, this is Agent Trevor from the FBI. I wanted to let you know Terry's appeal was denied. The 40-year sentence stands. I close my eyes. Thank you for letting me know. Mrs. Shannon, for what it's worth, you're one hell of a woman. Your son made the biggest mistake of his life underestimating you. Yes, I say quietly. Yes, he did. I hang up and look at my daughter, at my beautiful grandbabies playing with their toys, at the life I almost lost. Terry wanted me gone so he could inherit my money. Instead, I'm here, alive, free, happy, and he's in a cell, with nothing but 40 years to think about the mother he tried to kill. Funny how things work out. So that's my story. My son tried to ship me off to Haiti in a one-way cruise, planning to collect insurance money and live happily ever after with my former best friend. Instead, he's serving 40 years in federal prison, and I'm living my best life with my daughter and grandkids. If this story taught you anything, it's this. Never underestimate a mother who raised her kids alone. We didn't survive decades of struggle just to get played by our own children. Hit that subscribe button if you believe in karma. Drop a comment telling me, what would you have done in my situation? And share this story with anyone who needs a reminder that justice isn't just sweet, it's satisfying. Thanks for watching. And remember, I might be 72, but I can still flip a table when I need to.